this is Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, a weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. So what have I got for you this week? Well, we're going to be looking at equity as a means of raising growth capital with reports from the British Business Bank and a look at what Crowdcube have been up to in the first quarter of 2015. We're going to be looking at the rise in entrepreneurial activity with a report from Barclays Bank and the British Growth Fund, and business confidence on the up according to a survey from Lloyds Bank. And in my business finance tip of the week, I look at one reason why banks say no and one thing you need to be really careful of. So let's start off. External finance and means of raising it. Many businesses, when they look at raising growth capital, automatically default to thinking about debt. But obviously there's an alternative, and that's selling shares in your business. But the thing is, the awareness of it is really low. And this is one thing that came out in a recent report carried out by the British Business Bank. Now, the British Business Bank is an umbrella organisation set up by the government to house all of its finance schemes. And its latest report, which looked at equity raising in the UK, found that of the businesses looking to raise external finance, only about 5% of them ever think about raising finance through equity. Now, we know there's a lot of benefits in raising money this way. Well, first of all, it's not debt. It doesn't carry that interest burden. But more importantly, it brings a new skill set around the table, new blood, new fresh ideas. So there's lots of reasons why you should consider it. So what the British Business Bank wants to do now is to go out there and really raise awareness amongst businesses of the benefits of going down the equity route. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure we'll see a lot more initiatives coming out there to help you persuade to sell shares to access growth. Now, if you are already sold on the idea of selling equity, one route is obviously crowdfunding. I'm a leading provider of that, Crowdcube. I've just come out with its first quarter statistics of what it's been up to between January and March 2015. So what have they been doing? Well, they've raised money for 36 businesses in a variety of sectors, and in total they raised about £17.5 million. Great sum. Now, what type of businesses? Well, of those 36, 8 of them were startup businesses, 17 of them were early stage businesses, and 11 of them were established and mature businesses looking for growth finance. So the really interesting one is the startups. As we know, trying to get money or debt against startups is quite challenging. So a great route there if you're looking to fund your startup is through Crowdcube. What kind of businesses they've been doing? What kind of activity levels have they got? Well, the largest raise they had in this first quarter is £3.7 million for a company called Just Park. Also the quickest one in this first quarter, a company I mentioned in a previous bulletin, the Pressery, they raised money in 1 hour and 40 minutes on Crowdcube. And that is fast. So if you want to know more about Crowdcube, just go along to their website, crowdcube.com. Now, what about entrepreneurial activity in the UK generally? A regular survey carried out by Barclays and the Business Growth Fund looks at this topic, and they found out really positive news. Over the last 12 months, startups are up by 3.7%. So there's a good growth of the new entrepreneurs out there looking to establish businesses. But a little downside, though, is on high growth or fast growth companies. They took a look at companies turning over between 2.5 and 100 million. And over the last 12 months, 21% of all businesses kind of fall into that category. And that's down 2.2% in the previous year. So we're probably seeing a little bit of a slowdown in those fast growth. However, let's finish on a positive point out of that survey. Looking at businesses turning over up to £200,000, there's been an increase in those numbers of 6%. So 6% more businesses now getting up to the 200k mark. That's really all good news. So it just shows you a lot of positivity out there, and I hope that you're one of them. So thinking about this positivity, a survey out from Lloyds Bank. Every month it looks at confidence levels in the marketplace, and the latest figures out just show that those confidence levels are on the increase. According to those businesses surveyed, 53% said they are much more confident and optimistic generally, and that's an 8-point increase on the previous month's findings. Also about the economy generally, just over 70% of businesses saying they're much more optimistic about the economy. So really good signs coming out there. Lloyds Bank doing their bit to support small businesses. They've come out recently and said that they are now going to be looking to put out net lending to businesses of about £1 billion a year, so 3 billion over 3 years. They're also going to be supporting more businesses to help improve their digital skills where they feel there's a big gap. They're also revamping their online offering, revising their mobile banking app. So doing a lot more to try and help SMEs. So if you bank with Lloyds already, watch out. If you want to know more about Lloyds, obviously just go along to their website and find out what they can do for you as a small business. So my business finance tip of the week. This is a clip taken from a live seminar that I recently did, looking at kind of one of the reasons why banks say no. And in this clip, I talk about one thing that banks really look for, the purpose of how and what you're going to be using the money for. So let's go to that clip now. So the first thing that they want to look at is the purpose of the request. What do you want the money for? So the important thing to remember here, banks are not interested in lending what I would call get me out of jail money. A bank does not want to support you if you've got VAT arrears, PAYE arrears, NI arrears, any sort of corporation tax or personal tax arrears, anything like that. It's not really going to want to support you if you go in one day and say, do you know what, I've got the bailiffs coming in at 3 o'clock. Any chance of 20 grand? Yeah? That's not what they do. They are not in the business of supporting you to get out of a problem. What the banks are looking for today is to support a growth project, something that adds value to your business. So it's the purpose of it. What are you doing with the money? So if you're going to be saying, going into the bank, saying, look, we're looking for 50 grand to buy this piece of equipment. What this piece of equipment will do is going to improve the efficiency within the business by 20%. By doing that, it's going to boost our bottom line by at least £10,000 next year. We calculate that your loan repayment is only going to be about £3,000 a year. It makes financial sense for us to do this. Okay? That's a good value-adding project. So it's really back to what we were saying before about one of the reasons why businesses borrow is for purchase of assets. Now, banks are more keen on that because they can see that it may add value to the business. So the people who say that banks aren't supporting, they won't get the money if they wanted to support losses, or, as I said, to get me out of jail. That's not going to happen. So the first thing to think about when you're putting finance together is you've got to put it around a specific growth project. It makes it much more exciting and much more compelling to the bank because they can say, we supported a business that went from here to here by advancing this particular sum of money. So there we are. The message there is make sure that you have a positive, growth-focused plan. And the bank are not interested in lending get me out of jail money. So that's it for this week. As ever, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget, please share it amongst your colleagues and your friends. Share the link and like the video as well. So that's it for this week. I hope you have a great, successful and profitable week. I look forward to being with you again next Friday. Bye-bye now.